Marc Solms.
Hello.
I'm happy to sit here on the red sofa with you in the first Heath Congress. And I have 5 questions for you. And let's see what you say to them. First, in your opinion, what is the most important element in human development?
Learning how to meet our needs, which is not easy, and the way in which we know whether we are meeting them is feeling. So learning how to avoid bad feelings and learning how to maximize good feelings is the same thing as saying learning how to meet our needs. So I think that's the most important thing in human development. I would just add that when I said it's difficult, we have to learn how to meet our needs in relation to the needs of other people who are also learning how to meet their needs. So, because we're a social species, we don't live as an island.
Yes, thank you. Second question is, what do you think will be the biggest problem that children will have to face in the next 5 years?
You mean what will be uniquely difficult for this period of time?
Yeah.
I think it is the digitization, onlineization, artificialization. I think surprising when I say this, but I think the biggest challenge for us as a species and therefore for our children who are coming into this new world is the way in which it's become an increasingly artificial world, which is not what we evolved to live in.
Yes, okay, thank you. And the third question is the same one, but for adults, and therefore I mean the group of adults that manage the world, right? So maybe between 30 and 70, what is the greatest problem they have to face in the next 5 years?
Well, I think paradoxically the problem is going to be greater for us. Because if you're born into such a world, it is the world that you know. It may not be the world that your phenotype is expecting, but at least it is the world that you individually expect because it's the world that you were born into, even though it's difficult to adjust. Harder to adjust than had the world been more like that your phenotype was expecting. For those of us who grew up in a world which was utterly different from the world that we're now entering, it's an enormous adjustment, not only for not only for us as a species, but for each one of us who has grown up in a world that isn't the world that we're going to have in the near future. I don't want to sound as if I have special knowledge of I think that's the main problem. None of us know what it's going to be like. None of us know the extent to which and the ways in which our world is going to change mainly with this artificial intelligence revolution. But for example, it may well be that 90% of the jobs that we do now, there will be no longer any need for those jobs. So what will that mean? What will we do? You might say, well, we'll design a new kind of society, a new kind of economy, but we didn't grow up in such a society and such an economy. It's really very, very frightening. And why I'm frightened about it is because the fundamental drivers of this development is not the advancement of humankind, or even more importantly, the advancement of what is good for living things on our planet. It's the advancement of a few individuals who have much more than they need. It's a terrible value system. There's something really quite ill about what's driving these developments. I mean, I'm not a Luddite in the sense that I don't want us to stick to the good old days and nothing must change, and I'm not Jean-Jacques Rousseau or something like this. I understand the need for progress, the need for advancement, the need to understand new things, the need to push the boundaries. These are noble and valuable. These are things which are good for us, and by us I mean living things. It's good to understand better how the world works so that we can better do my answer to your first question, better learn how to meet our needs in it. But this is not driven by curiosity and creativity. It's driven by greed, selfish greed.
Thank you very much. And the fourth question is, how do you relate, or what do you think when you hear the word First Peace Congress?
Well, had you asked me that before I had just attended this Congress, I would say, oh, a Congress in a heath, how interesting. Now, the first thing that I think of is a group of colleagues who are nice people and who are doing important work and who I'm very glad to have encountered.
Thank you very much for that.
But I mean nice people. It's unfortunately not everyone is nice.
Yes. Okay, the last question is the second Peace Congress in 2028, which will be the 28th International IMPP Conference, where IMPP licentiates from all over the world will come here. Do you want to come again?
Well, as I said, my experience of this local Congress that I've just attended was very warm, very pleasant, unusually so. So if my schedule allows it, I will gladly come again, if I'm still alive in 2028.
Yeah, we hope so, and we would be very glad to welcome you again, also to our living room, nice dinner. And thank you very much for this talk, and have a safe trip home.
Thanks, Jana. Thanks for inviting me and also for inviting me to you.